Turn up the radio. It's time for Food for Thought Community Counts, presented by Second Harvest Food Bank, with hosts Brian Horning and Tracylyn Brian.
We all need somebody to lean on.
Welcome to Food for Thought Community Counts, presented by Second Harvest Food Bank, serving Riverside and San Bernardino counties. I am Brian Horning, and joining me in studio is the host of our program, Tracylyn Brian, who is Director of Development and Marketing for Second Harvest Food Bank. Also in studio, we have a special guest. Craig, pronounce the last name for me once, and then I'll get it from there.
Redelsberger.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Redelsberger. Great. From, 211 in the county of Riverside.
That's it.
And Tracylyn, you invited him, so why don't you do the introduction?
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. You know, there's a lot of programs out in the Inland Empire that are worthy to sit there and take the time on this show, but this one especially. And the reason is because it kind of encompasses all of the needs of all of the people in every area can find access to a resource here. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you're looking for something and you're in a desperate situation, it adds to the stress in the household. Yeah. It adds to the stress in your life. What if there were one phone number that you can call that had maybe not every answer, I mean, they're not God, but what if they had all the answers to some of the questions that you might have? Mm-hmm. Like, where can I find food? I don't have enough money to pay my rent. I got this red notice and it says my lights are being turned off and I'm 90 years old and I'm on my own. What do you do? This is a place where you can call and get all of the answers and some help for those specific social economic crises that most of us have experienced at one point in our life. So instead of dialing 911, you dial 211 for the 411, and it's really just like that. So right. The reason I'm having him on is because, you know, when we think about some of the crises that are in Riverside County, a lot of us immediately will think of the housing market and the job losses. But those things are a catalyst to the underlying issues of other things within the household. And we're going to talk about some of those things that they address through the 211 system every day, and then also how they work in the nonprofit industry as well. So that's what we're going to kind of go over a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Sounds great.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me. Really appreciate
Craig, it's great to have you here. I have had the opportunity to interview someone from 211 before, so I know that it exists. I'm betting that most of our listeners don't. They have no idea that there is such an organization, and what we want to do today is to give as much exposure to it as we possibly can. Let me ask one question to begin with. How many calls do you actually get?
The last year we had over 80,000 calls
Wow.
to 211. Yeah, we're getting a lot of people calling us because they're finding out about resources. Mm-hmm. They need it, obviously. And in Riverside County, we have over 2.1 million people. Mm-hmm. And we figure about half know about 211. So we really appreciate you spreading the word about 211.
Well, I'm hoping that the other half is listening.
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Well, I think more important than a lot of our listeners, thank God, are affluent. They've been blessed. But everyone knows someone. And I think this 211 information ought to be in church bulletins. It ought to be
corporate newsletters.
Yeah, it needs to
everywhere.
be known. It needs to get the word out, folks. Get the word out. Help us here.
That's right. And we're a nonprofit. We don't have a lot of resources for outreach and marketing. So we ask people to tell their friends, their family, and neighbors about 211 because you never know who's going to need it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it is as simple as, I mean, a lot of people call the food bank for individual food, and we provide the food to nonprofit organizations who then in turn distribute it for us. So when individual families call up and they're looking for food from the food bank, I'll say, what you need to do is contact 211, and they'll say, well, what's the number? The number is 211. It's like dialing 911, but instead you push the 2 instead of the 9, and it's 911. Now, when you think about how easy that is, how do you have like an average wait? Is there a long wait to sometimes for people to gain access to a person?
We can have our call peaks wait time of probably around 5 minutes. Sometimes it'll go a little longer, but it depends on the time of day.
And the time of month.
Exactly. At certain times of the month, there are more times where people are in need.
What would be the busiest time of day?
First thing in the morning on Mondays is not a very good time to call in. People, I guess, are waiting for through the weekend to call 211. But 211 is a 24-hour a day, 7 days a week.
So they don't need to wait till Monday
don't
morning.
Need to wait till
They
Monday.
can call you at 3 o'clock in the morning,
That's
and
right.
somebody's going to answer the phone and help you.
Yes, that's right. And
A human.
it's a good time, actually, to call at 3 in the morning.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to call you at 3 in the morning. Will you be awake?
Well,
It's not gonna be you, is
for
it?
you, yes, I'll be yes. Yeah, so Monday through Friday are our largest call volume times. Pretty much between 11 to 1 is another high call or high peak for calls.
When somebody calls, what are some of the things that they should know before they place this call that would make the call be more efficient for them, more active for them? So if somebody was going to call, I mean, there's not requirements on their part to give you their name and all this other stuff, is there?
No, there's no requirement for any really information. What we do ask is that you tell us your zip code or city that you're calling from, because what we want to do is we want to match your need and the resource closest to you,
Right.
so that you don't have to go to another city or even another county to find that resource. So you can find the resource right in your neighborhood. So we do ask for your zip code and city.
And in my case, like next door to me is a different zip code.
Oh, right.
So
Sure.
when you're calling, take that into consideration, because your house might be sitting right on the line of the zip code next to that adjacent area. So not just give your zip code, but the adjacent zip codes around you, because if there's not, say, somebody was looking for food, maybe they're not having any distribution in your zip code, but in the next zip code over,
right.
they're distributing that day, and you could get there. So make sure you give as much comprehensive information about your location as possible. That's where they're going to get the most resources that way.
What do you have? What are the greatest volume of calls over? I mean, what's the main topic?
Well, our number one most requested need in Riverside County is for housing and utility assistance. People need to get assistance with paying the bills and paying the rent. That's the number one requested need. The next one then is food.
So food's number 3.
Food number 2.
Number 2.
Housing and utilities are considered one, because
Oh.
you got to
Okay.
keep your electricity on if you're staying inside a house, just for safety reasons. But food is number 2 on the list.
If somebody calls and say they were looking for rent and utility assistance, do you offer other type of assistances that they might not be willing to understand that they might need? For instance, if somebody's not having enough money to pay for their rent and their house and their electricity, most likely they can't afford to go out and buy food either.
right.
So are you trying to help them navigate their need system while they're on the phone?
Exactly, and that's exactly what 211 does. No problem is ever
God
simple.
bless you.
Bless you there. Oof. No problem is simple. It's complex. My 211 operators will sit through and figure out exactly what the person needs help with and prioritize what they need.
Oh, okay, good.
Simply put, yes, if somebody can't afford to pay the bill, they're looking for food for that month.
Yeah.
And they're looking for these other resources to help leverage so that they can get food for that month.
Yeah. I mean, it comes out of one pile or another, but the bottom line is if there's no pile to go to,
Exactly.
Right.
you got to start somewhere, and obviously you can certainly go without electricity, but you don't want to. But
No.
going without food, that's
Right.
then it becomes really,
It's a basic
really serious.
essential for life.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
a lot of our callers are juggling these, trying to balance their budget. And their,
Now, your organization doesn't say, "Yeah, we've got a check for you."
Right.
Your organization is a resource center that then distributes resource information on where to get the assistance that's needed.
Right. 211 is just an information clearinghouse. We'll point you in the right direction. If you don't know where to go to get food, they'll tell you where to go.
And when you give them
closest
when you give them the information, is there a cap on how many resources you can give one person? Like you can say, we can give you 5, and then hopefully you'll find. If you don't find it with these 5, call us back. Or can they sit there and say, I want all of your resources for this? Can somebody call and then say, if they were a nonprofit organization themselves and they wanted a resource list, for instance, for food in their specific area, could you share that resource list with a nonprofit that wants to share that information with the people they're serving?
Indeed. In fact, we do all of the above. we will sit on the phone as long as it takes for the caller to get the information that they want and need. Sometimes we tell them, well, try these couple of numbers, then call us back and see how that goes, and go to the next step, the next level. So we do have a lot of people calling back, getting more information. Maybe the first need has been met. Maybe they got the food that they need. And then maybe they need to get some utility assistance. Well, we'll point them in that direction at the next call. So we really try to make a little plan for them to get out of the debt or the problems that they're facing.
Right. Give them a hand up, not a hand out. Exactly. And some of them just want a hand up. They don't. A lot of the people that are asking now are first-time askers because of the economy and because of, where the community is leading. And I know that, I hate that clock. We're going to go into break, aren't we?
Yeah,
shoot. Well, we'll go into that when we come back, folks.
We need to have you back for more on this because we're not even beginning to scratch the surface. This is a fascinating interview. You folks are listening to Food for Thought Community Counts, and we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Craig from Riverside 211, and you're going to want to hear more. Stay tuned.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You've seen me around the neighborhood, and you've told me I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 4 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we could grow up and be whatever we want. I want to grow up and be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everyone. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we're Feeding America. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Thousands of people in Southern California go hungry every day. And it's people who work with food banks in our communities that are helping to make a difference. Ralph's and Food for Less are committed to keeping our local food banks well-stocked and ready to help those in need. In fact, just last year, they donated over $8 million to help our local nonprofit organizations with warehousing, distribution, and other expenses. And their employees donate countless volunteer hours every week. Last year, Ralph's and Food for Less also donated over 2 million pounds of perishable food. And their bi-yearly Bringing Hope to the Table campaign not only raises funds for the food banks, but raises awareness about their mission too. Ralph's and Food for Less are proud to help build our local communities through support and active involvement in local charities, and hope that by working together, we can make Southern California a better place to live for everyone.
News Talk 590, KTIE.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on.
We're back with Food for Thought Community Counts, presented by Second Harvest Food Bank, serving Riverside and San Bernardino County. I'm Brian Horning. I'm here with Tracylyn Sherritt.
I'll be Tracylyn.
And we are here with Craig
Rattlesburger.
Craig,
just Craig the 211 guy.
Rattlesburger. It's not that hard. From 211 in the county of Riverside. Now, in the county of Riverside means that there are like organizations in other counties. Am I right?
That's right. There are 58 counties in California, and we have around 30 now that are covered by 211 services.
Is it just in California or is it throughout the nation?
No, last year, actually, every state went on board as of last year to have 211 services.
Outstanding.